to the good, the Scaz and the rugby. I am going to be so much more shouty than usual because we are at the Bristol Beer Factory tap room.
It's a little louder this week than it was last week, isn't it?
And I think Nick said something because his lips moved, but I couldn't make it out. There are so many happy England fans in Bristol tonight. England are finalists
They
at
are.
Rugby World Cup 2025. They are facing Canada at Allianz Stadium in Twickenham next Saturday.
There were some very nervous England rugby fans during that match. My goodness. We all expected that Friday night game to be the one where we just couldn't see where it was going to go, nip and tuck, and Canada turned up and did the steamroll. Then Saturday, nerves everywhere, feeling sick, throwing up. It was the full works.
And this is what he's saying while wearing a suit and also being the stadium announcer person, looking dapper. First time since 2014 for Canada to be in the final. If you have just pulled up a chair in the last few months to women's rugby land, what is notable is that the last time England won this World Cup 11 years ago, they were playing Canada in the final.
They certainly were. What a game that was. And what, 18,000 maybe, if that, squeezed into the Stade Jean Bouin?
And now you can turn the numbers around.
You say, oh, love that. Don't do that gesture too often.
Okay, sorry.
But, yeah, what a sensational number that's going to be.
Okay, so the big news from this weekend that you will know, New Zealand are out.
They are.
And
they are gone.
This is such a big result because these Black Ferns have looked like they could pull themselves out of any tight spot. Canada just had way too much for them. And I think the thing that we do have to do here is to bid farewell to the Ferns. They are playing in the bronze final, but this is a really big moment. And I loved seeing Stacey Walker coming out and still smiling and signing autographs and giving the fans that came out to support them a few minutes of her time post-match.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a moment actually right at the end of the game I thought, oh, that's the last we'll see of Portia Woodman-Wycliffe. Oh no, there is the third, fourth place playoff. Yeah. I still can't fathom how teams get themselves up for that. Yeah. They all talk that really professional thing, you know, we will give a good account of ourselves, there's pride of it. I saw Marine Ménager doing it post-match earlier. And you just think, really, you just want to get on a plane and go home, don't you? I don't envy those teams that have to do the bronze final. What I really hope for them as well, and this might be a sentiment for later, but I hope people with tickets for that final, bearing in mind it's a doubleheader. Yes, it's a long day, but you've shown up for the rest of the Rugby World Cup. If you can, show up for that bronze final, because we don't want that old feeling that we used to hate of 8,000 to 10,000 people kicking around that enormous stadium. Yeah. So we need people to turn up early. Have your brunch nice and early. It's a 12:30 kickoff. Get in there, get down.
If you agree with us that New Zealand and France delivered two sensational performances this weekend in the semi-finals, then I think that you should seriously look at your Saturday plans and make sure that you are there to clap them off. One team that could put on a masterclass in how to do the bronze final is France, because they have played in the bronze final of the Women's Rugby World Cup 8 out of 9 times.
Yeah.
That is an unreal number.
Yeah.
As a French rugby player, is that the most demoralizing thing in the world?
Oh no, it's got to be. In one sense, you're pushing England in ways first half in a game that no one has for a long time, and you're right in it, and there's 2 points between them. And yet, you find yourself on a level with all the other French teams that came before you. You're in a bronze final. You're not against Canada. I mean, that's a little different.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first time that New Zealand have lost a semi-final since 1991, the very first Women's Rugby World Cup final. So that's going to be a little different in terms of that bronze final. And why not? You know, get yourself up for it. Go for it. You know, I know as I say on the one hand, how do you? But, well, you've got to. And you want to be the one that says, yes, we finished third.
I think you have to wallow for about 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, you need to pull yourself towards yourself and go hard.
It's good that we have the Friday, Saturday, Sunday for everybody is...
One person who scored another big victory this weekend is our irreverent Heath in his reverend shirt again today, who picked another England result spot on. How many is that out of this
Oh,
tournament?
I'm losing track. I mean, we got the opener spot on.
Yeah.
1 or 2 of the quarterfinals, maybe. I can't even remember. I'm not keeping track. But
I think you're on 3 out of 5.
I've had friends messaging me going, "You must be a witch. Burn her, burn her."
Oh,
because
and the witch is wearing the Rugby World Cup colours on her nails.
You know, I thought I'd
Stop
make the
it.
effort for the final couple of weekends.
Stop
The
it.
amount of people though today have commented on the nails, which have been beautiful. And the second question from a remarkable amount has been, "And did you do them yourself?"
No.
Who do they think I am? I paid money for this. Gigi's nail bar in Tooting. Help yourself.
Okay, so you were spot on with England. You were off by 3 in the other semi-final.
I was, yeah, that pesky penalty, honestly.
Come on.
Yeah, but I did have a sneaky flutter this morning on a little whim, and I just thought with the 2 French players that were out and with Joanna Grise as a loss, I actually was pushing. I thought England would do it by 30 plus. I really did. And then I thought England aren't going to make it to a World Cup final.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Oh no, stop it, Anna Capeless.
just
Can you
swings
please
by.
stop being the nicest person in rugby?
Do you know,
Why
I
are
always
there so many drinks here?
this reference will go
thank
over
you.
their head.
And who is the other drink for, Anna Capeless?
This is for Sam Love Rugby.
Sam Love Rugby, we love you.
Legend. This is your wine. I got a large just in case. It's been a long day.
Yeah. It's a large wine kind of day.
It is a large wine kind of day and a cold beer kind of day. So
Could you summarize your experience today in one word as an Irish woman at this Rugby World Cup? Were you supporting the French?
was I supporting the French?
I'm just asking because you were in La Rochelle now for a while, were you not?
I was, but and I love La Rochelle, and as much as I loved them, no.
No.
And I was very lucky to sit down with Agathe Gérard during the week, who was an absolute legend, beautiful girl, and she said to me really guiltily, she was like, "You probably hate us since last week."
Oh.
And I was like, "Don't be silly, I've hated you for way longer than that." So,
ladies and gentlemen, she'll be here all night.
I'm here all night, dancing on the tables.
See you in Twickenham.
Yes. Yes! Amazing. Enjoy. Okay.
Thank you for
I'm
the beer.
delivering the rest of the...
Thank you.
This English cultural reference will be lost on you, but this is the closest to being in an episode of Noel's House Party I've ever been in, and I'm just very thankful for that. Move on.
Okay. Well, we've got enough beer now to go for the entire night. Let's just quickly do some business. Now it's time for the High Flyer of the Week, brought to you by our good friends at British Airways, where we pick the Player of the Week from the Red Roses. Our nominees, the names that we have already put out on the socials, are number 1, with the top of the tackle charts win for the week, Sadia Kabaya.
Great shout. Oh my goodness. I think she was my player of the match. I think she was the one player in that first half that didn't risk the high risk tipping on, where there was far too much of in a very greasy game. I don't know what England were doing first 40 minutes. And some of those chopped tackles, one in towards the end of that first half, was just sublime. 21 tackles, I think, level with Zoe Allcroft.
Zoe Allcroft, correct. Sadia Kabaya, loved the effort. Number 2 on our list, dancing pre-kick-off. We think she made 4 turnovers on her own, which is a third of all of the ones that England did. It is our own Megan John.
Meg was brilliant. I got a cuddle from Meg after we had a little post-match interview. She is absolutely flying. I asked if there is going to be any shift of energy this week around, going to the final. She was like, nope, we're still having fun. They had fun today, at least second half.
Yeah. And then, of course, curly girl herself, Ellie Kildan.
What about those tries? Inside the first 4 or 5 minutes, she stepped about 11 people. Then a couple of minutes later, put in a beautiful spiral kick. I looked at the watch, less than 5 minutes played. And then the try second half, where, I don't know about you, every rugby fan I know was screaming, look left, support's on the left.
Oh.
And Ellie's like, no, I might be on the left, but I'm going to just run around everybody. Most amazing thing was watching Kelly Arbe, who's no slouch, go, right, I'm going to line you up. No, you've gone.
Bye.
A lot of people have said Ellie wasn't player of the match for them, but when you come out with world-beating quality like that, I just think it's rugby from another planet.
And you know what? When you called her name in the stadium, when you did the introductions, the kind of roar that rang out in Ashton Gate Stadium here in Bristol, when Nick Heath went, and number 15, making her return.
Kill, done.
And it was just like, wow!
Yeah.
People were obsessed
Yeah.
with the fact that she is back. The expectation was so high in commentary, and then pre-match everyone talked up whether this is going to be the game where she secures her place again after a performance that did feel off colour.
Didn't she?
She answered her critics in such a classy way.
How did the vote go?
The vote has gone in favour of our own Megan Jones.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
I love that.
Lots of lovely interventions, and then getting that little bounce back from the charge down on the try. Yeah, that was tasty.
Sensational. So thank you for your insight, Nick. British Airways will take care of you over a lifetime of journeys. Book your next flight at britishairways.com. England 35, France 17. When it was 5-7 at half time, how did you feel about the experience, Nicholas Heath?
I felt sick, but this is worth me saying, because I'm not a die-hard Red Roses fan. That's not how my career works. That's not how I look at things. I'm very lucky I have some great friendships within that Red Roses team. When I started this career as a journalist, it was very apparent to me how important it is to not be friends with the people you're reporting on and having to interview, and in some cases proverbially hold up against a wall. In the men's game more so than it's been in the women's, but certainly throughout both. But you spend a lot of time with people when you cover different things and you get to know them. And so I had that feeling for some of them. What I really thought about were the tournament organisers and the crowds we've had and the expectation in this country and the choice of England as the place to hold this Rugby World Cup and the audiences they've been. And I just thought, if the Red Roses are not in that final, I don't know what Allianz Stadium looks like next week.
It would have been the biggest bronze final in history.
But it would have just been so weird. And so England did what they needed to do. And they were playing a ridiculous game first half. Way too many excited passes. I think a little nervous as well. Their restart reception was absolutely terrible again.
What is that?
Oh my
What
goodness.
is that? What is going on there?
Why overcomplicate it? See the ball, catch the ball, truck it up, present good ball, great. Not lifting it. Anyway, I think people have gone through this, but just clean that up. And, I think there was a knock-on right from the first kick, wasn't there? I think Zoe Aldcroft knocked it on. So England just needed to tighten that up. I overheard the ref mic towards around the start of the second half. And in the first half, where, I can't remember who it was, but where a player would have gone, well, let's ship it, let's probably ship it, and they'd knock it on. They looked to ship, and about 4 voices went, carry, carry, carry. And I was like, that's the note at half-time. Why are we not carrying anymore? And they just hit, and they hit, and they hit. And when Abby Ward scored that try, I found this weird emotional feeling. I get very connected to the noise of a roaring crowd, and I got goosebumps. And I just was like, this is big. That was English rugby as they loved playing it.
Yeah.
Men or women.
Yeah.
And they stuck to the script as they needed to. And that sort of score just moved the scoreboard on. And I was like, right, that's what England need to do. What was that first 40 minutes all about?
No. I mean, I hope that we have now left that behind us. John Mitchell did say some interesting things in the post-match. He said halftime in the locker room was quiet.
Yep.
He said no one will remember how we got to the final. No one will remember how we played. They will look at the final scoreboard. And this is so true. There are so many examples in men's rugby World Cups, especially South Africa in 2019, where the semi-final, when you look back on it, you go, we did not even show up for a lot of that match. Shululu was the word. There are so many matches when you go back and you look at semi-finals that were literally on. I mean, South Africa got to the men's rugby World Cup final 23 by playing 3 one-point wins.
Yeah. And
it doesn't matter.
And that was John Mitchell's point. He was just saying people won't remember this. They won't remember how we played.
Yeah.
All they will know is that we were Rugby World Cup finalists and how that game went.
Yeah. Katie Daly-McLean said she said, England finished, France didn't. England will be relieved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main emotion, I think. And there was a moment when the replacements are going around and getting ready, and they were given a warm reception by the stand second half, early on in the second half, and I just thought, those are the soldiers in the trenches that the Red Roses really need right now. Now, the team that came out second half then delivered the game plan a lot better than they had. So it was a combination effort, but yeah, it was certainly a case that England finished and France were finished.
I can't remember when last I've seen a scoreline 35-17 so far out of touch with what the game felt like. Yeah, because the feels are so far off from what that number says. On the weather, that drizzle just before kickoff, and the fact that the humidity in Bristol this weekend has just been outrageously high. Is that all? Do we need to look into handling errors more, or is it just conditions?
It's conditions, but play the game plan that suits it. And England didn't do that first 40. So that was frustrating, and they remedied that and went, hey, maybe we need to carry a bit. And hey, presto, they made meters. Their ball presentation was okay. I don't think their breakdown work was really solid. England got a lot of reward from Amy Barrett-Theron as the referee in the warm-up in Mont-de-Marsan. Maggie Coggerall wasn't as hot on that breakdown area, or maybe France just weren't transgressing as much as they did in that previous one. So that was a really interesting part of the game for me. But first half, England just kept dropping the ball and throwing it to people when they didn't need to. Carry, move forward, keep momentum.
Now, the swing low ringing out in the stadium. The people going on the drums, ta 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 da da ta da da da, England, and then also the swing low being sung, the energy and the enthusiasm, the excitement, the Shania Twain on Friday night,
yeah.
And Mo even in the pre-match interview saying that even by England standards, and England fans are absolutely unparalleled, I feel like, in the world of women's rugby. Today felt like a lot, and they were quite overwhelmed coming into the stadium.
Wow, yeah. They were all having a moment. Zoe Aldcroft spoke post-match about the fact that when they were stuck in traffic, little kids were running up and trying to get them to sign stuff. So they were opening what windows they could on the bus and signing stuff to hand it down, which is incredible, isn't it? And you mentioned that swing low. I mean, my booth as the stadium host in Bristol, it's actually behind some glass, but we get that slightly softer, higher tone with the women's rugby audience, with more women's fans there, more women there, and there was just something about hearing that in that tone. And I had another step back moment where I was like, this is another 25,000, part of a 50,000 weekend in Bristol, of people singing this song in an environment that is inclusive of queer people, inclusive of neurodiverse people, inclusive of the men that don't like going to some of the other environments within men's rugby that have existed for a long time. I think World Rugby have got a really interesting choice coming forwards as to how they approach men's international rugby, based on the party and the festival feeling that women's rugby is proving a huge number of people really want and enjoy. And that's not saying that there aren't other people that want to turn up, have a few pints, chat with their mates, cheer the game and go home. That's great too. But I think it's really interesting what we've shown people will show up for.
Na 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 thunder. There was so much of that.
Oh, and I've recorded, by the way, I'll try and work out how I'm going to put it out. I recorded Thomas Llewellyn, who was the show caller for the match presentation company. My goodness, is he good at his job. All the timings of everything that they do, from the flags being unfurled, from when the teams come out, the fire cannons, and he's calling it all second by second. It's really something to witness. It was amazing.
Okay, so one of my favourite moments of the match, and this is not something producer Shira put in the brief, I'm going rogue. Amy Cocaine, do you know what I'm going to say next?
Go on.
Her black G-string and half her bum coming out on the BBC.
I didn't see that.
When she was scoring, I was like, okay, well, that just happened on BBC One, guys. But that's fine. It's family viewing. But just the energy of that mall that just rumbled and rumbled and rumbled.
And when she stood up at the end and was just like, rah, because at that point, England needed that score.
Yes, I needed it.
But what they demonstrated through it was, don't worry, we've realised what we need to do. And the fans were like, oh, thank goodness, you've well done. We've been looking at each other for the first 40 minutes going, when are they going to do the thing they need to do? Nobody has ever wanted to see an England maul more than the fans.
Just
at
give
that
us
point.
a maul, guys. Route
Score.
one.
Yeah.
Just put it like inside and make the little cuddle all the way to the try line, and then we can all live and breathe peacefully.
And then the
again.
French scored and everyone went, oh,
And
God,
then the
again. But anyway.
The person who enjoyed today the most, though, out of everybody at Ashton Gate Stadium, Kevin Rouet.
Yeah.
The Canadian coach was there.
He was. I spoke to him on the way up. I happened to catch him in the corridor. And I said, how are you? I said, did you sleep well last night? And he went, I slept a little bit. And I said, I'm fairly sure that if today goes the way the Red Roses fans wanted to, you're going to keep a few of them awake during this week as well. Because it was a stellar Canadian performance. How good was that?
England might be on a 32-match record, unbeaten streak. But there is no team in world rugby that could play the way that Canada played yesterday. And it is frightening, I'm sure, if you're an England fan looking at this. 34-19 Canadian triumph over New Zealand in a semi-final that was honestly just some of the most sensational rugby we have seen in the game.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And what I loved about what Canada did, and I actually messaged Sarah Hunter at one point, because as soon as they'd start to go, you sometimes see that trail ball inside. We're going this way, but I might send it back to a runner here. And they had that option. They had another option cutting across behind to go that way. They had an outside option. And the Black Ferns just started chasing shadows. Like, the moment Justine Pelletier got through and was starting to go that way and looked up, oh, who've I got? Oh, Sophie de Goody slips it to her, and de Goody just flies through. It was quite funny because I was up again in my little booth, stadium announcing, I'm not on the microphone, but somehow spontaneously commentating in the room. And there's like 6 people sort of watching the game, waiting to calls to have press buttons and do whatever. And I just screamed, de Goody! Because that run she was on, I was just like, this is unbelievable rugby. And Canada just had so many options. And I messaged Sarah Hunter, went, who'd be a defence coach? Because she has got her work cut out this week. But anyway, we'll get to that probably in another show. But they were brilliant. They had every option. New Zealand couldn't live with them. And there was almost a resigned look of the Black Ferns as they walked round the field at the end, a smile on Stacey Walker's face to go, yeah, we couldn't stop that.
They were just beaten.
Yeah.
Full stop. It is the best use of the word. They were beaten.
Yeah,
Canada,
I think I had someone use the word dismantled, and I thought that was about right.
Yeah. Canada, on the speed of ball and the speed of the breakdown that they play. Anna Capeless said to me this morning when I bumped into her, she was just so struck by the fact that they were not doing anything that all of us don't know about.
Yeah.
They were just doing it relentlessly fast and consistently well.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's what England will need to remember. Canada had a plan, stuck to the plan, delivered on it brilliantly. Alex Tessier, my goodness.
Oh,
what a performance from her.
Why doesn't she look like that for Exeter?
It's true. And
I want more of that girl.
And that former Exeter front row of you know, Delika Menin and Emily Tutosi and McKinley Hunt. Those 3 were brilliant as well. Karen Pakwan again was huge. And what I loved about it was, I've got to know that Canada team. We all have over the World Cup and over previous years. And you just wanted them, you want them to become bigger household names because Canada are just, for some reason, slightly outside. They're not part of the Six Nations. We don't speak about them a lot on British shores. Pac 4 is another competition that we don't pay attention to.
It happens over there somewhere.
You know, we've had an announcement this week of the new women's global calendar and how global WXV is going to look. We're going to see Canada against more of these opposition on more of these stages again. And I cannot wait because they deserve it. And their rugby is so good to watch. So many people I know tuned into that game on Friday and just went, wow.
Wow. Do you know what I also loved on Friday night? The fact that we had a night game.
Yeah.
These fancy, light-up disco rugby posts. Can we just have them all the time, please?
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. The lighting, the entertainment, the music, the screens, the light-up posts. I do now regret not having more nighttime games during this World Cup.
Yeah.
Because the Friday Night Lights vibe in Bristol, it's Freshers, is it Freshers Week? That's what they call it here.
Yeah.
The university students are out. The whole town is showing leg.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah, totally. And maybe we could just put in a petition, get next week's all moved back by about 5 hours.
Just give us the nighttime
We're going to have a France-Paris style 9 p.m. kickoff.
Yes. But I think there is something there. I think that evening semi-final had like an extra bit of electricity in the air because the darkness really elevates the impact of the light, and it felt like real theatre, and the quality of the rugby was so good.
Yeah.
And you know what, New Zealand, we do have to give these Ferns credit. The chip and chase game, out of their 22, doing all kinds of very, very, very deeply outrageous, and now in hindsight, potentially costly things. But the way in which they have shown up and came here to dazzle and to play their way was gorgeous.
Yeah, and look, we've got the likes of Braxton Sorensen-McGee and Georgia Miller, these players that have really had an opportunity outside of their own country, outside of what they've done in sevens, to turn up in 15s as it's taking off. And I do think, I don't want to overspeak this on their behalf, but the Black Ferns having that moment, walking around, knowing they've got this third, fourth place playoff to play in, but they will also know, because it's been well publicised by Alice Soper and plenty of others, that the coverage back home hasn't been great. And a little bit like the point I made to the Samoan head coach, they have tasted these enormous stadia, not just once 40,000 at Eden Park, but all over the place. And they're seeing how it's lifting off here in the Northern Hemisphere overall. And so they will be feeling, my goodness, imagine how it would feel if we had this back home. And New Zealand, it's time for you to give them that back home because they're worth it. And imagine what extra fun we all get to globally have when the New Zealand fans truly wake up and get behind the women's game.
Do you know what I also loved? Lima Sapuanga posted and said, this Canadian team and the way that they are playing, I love that they have crowdfunded to get here, but can we please give them all of the money?
Yeah.
May they get all of the support, because this sort of heroic antics that they have brought to this tournament deserves broader recognition. Shania Twain, we know you have the money, girl. Come on. Man, I feel like a woman. And you said that this impresses you. You said so. World Rugby tweeted you or posted and said that one impressed you, Shania, and she said, oh, you know it did.
Oh, I love that.
Come on. We can make the kid animal print.
And can I give you a little note on the humility and brilliance of the Black Ferns? Man, I Feel Like a Woman was on the playlist on Friday night after Shania Twain had commented that she's supporting her fellow Canadians, and it was New Zealand who wanted it on the playlist.
No, stop it.
Yep.
How do you know that?
Because I'm probably breaking secrets.
Ooh. So they get to have a say?
I think they can say, can we have a couple of tunes that are our tunes? And
because I was shouting out loud. I wasn't even singing to Man, I Feel Like a Woman. I mean,
but I thought, oh, what a shame, what a great tune to have on Friday night. But I imagine they're probably thinking now it looks like Canada favoritism.
No,
well,
we
New Zealand
all just
asked for
love her. Come on.
But I also think that's great because actually, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you, for the sake of women's rugby, for whatever? Anyway, yeah, brilliant.
So good. So Shania, come on, the girlies are waiting. Step up.
Just one thing on that, by the way. And Alice Soper, who I mentioned earlier, has done a piece on this, I think when she was out after the game. But it isn't the story that the Canada Union are this rich union that pay for their men to do everything and don't care about their women's program.
No.
It's a very different story than that. So editorially, it's worth mentioning that actually it's just the fact that rugby is
so small.
It's so small and not big in Canada. But it can be. And it can be when the Canadian women are second in the world in a Rugby World Cup final and giving absolutely everything they've got. So big business in North America, because I know you really watch this show. it's time to get behind and throw the money at these women because it's going places.
I already saw former Canadian fly half with a very Canadian name, DTH van der Merwe, who sounds like me when we speak Afrikaans. We sound equally rural. DTH van der Merwe has played Rugby World Cups for the Canadian French team at fly half, I think 4 times.
Sure.
And he posted on Instagram and he was like, flights booked, tickets booked, still need to sort accommodation, London, I'm coming through.
How great.
So I love seeing the Canadian men going, do you know what? We are coming through to support these girls.
Yeah.
And we are here to honor the way in which they are representing our country and our sport on the international stage.
Yeah.
The other people that we do need to credit outside of Shania for their support include, but is not limited to, Crumplsaw on Instagram, Ailsa, who sent us these gorgeous thistles.
Oh, they're amazing.
Which we will now have to take to set, and my South African coloured scrunchie that has all of the South African flag
cute.
colours on it. Ailsa wrote us a whole letter, and she said she started crocheting when she was dealing with wait, let me get to it. She made 230 crochet thistles,
Wow.
which she handed out to people in the crowd at the Scotland-Fiji match. And the Lochaber women were the people who helped her do this. She sent us 3 of the thistles, and she said she just wanted to share the joy, and the thistles is a testament to how amazing the women's rugby space is. She started crocheting because she was dealing with a really tough time with some post-concussion syndrome. And making the thistles really helped her stay positive through a rough time. What is crucial that she adds is I really loved the episode with Amy Barretron. As an autistic woman, it was great to see another autistic woman speaking openly about being autistic, as it's something that isn't often done. And she was lucky enough to meet Amy at Canada v Wales in Salford and give her a thistle as well.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much for the scrunchie and for the thistles, and also for everything you do in the game. And Amy Barretron, I did wear my South African socks on Friday night for your game. We do still have South African representation.
And how
in this
good was
tournament.
Amy on Friday night, by the way?
Yeah. Here
Top-
we go, Amy Barretron.
Top performance, absolutely brilliant. Tricky week the week before, just smashed her semi-final. Was very pleased for her.
And then after the New Zealand-Canada match, we were walking towards a pub that Nicholas Heath sent us the pin for. When I say we, it was me, Katie Daly-McLean, Anna Capeless, Shira Kilgallen was at the pub.
Philippa
she was going to meet
Tuttiett.
us there. Philippa Tuttiett was with us. And I was being a loud individual on the sidewalks in the dark. And this woman who was walking in the opposite direction looked around and went, Elma! And I was like, yes, it's me. And she is from the Geneva Wildcats. And she brought me a pair of Kitty Cat socks.
Members of the public are just walking around with Kitty Cat socks in their pockets in case they run into Elma Smit. This is a ridiculous world, people.
Thank you so much to the Geneva Wildcats for my Kitty Cat socks. I love them so much. I cannot wait to wear them. I really appreciate you. I'm also wearing my Scaz's favorite t-shirt, which has not been mentioned yet, but we do have a merch store, guys. I do think the Scaz's favorite t-shirt and the specific cow is amazing. Katie Daly-McLean says she has pajamas with these cows on them.
Oh, wow.
So there is obviously a really big cow trend going. And then when we got to the pub tonight here at the Bristol Beer Factory and Tap Room, these letters were on the table for us. One said Elma and one said Rev.
Has Santa been?
So Father Christmas has come to visit us early.
What is this?
I've not read this yet. Mine has a fridge magnet of Ashton Gate. And my card, oh, it's Bristol on the card. And it says, to Elma, the work that you and Nick are doing goes beyond rugby. You're making the world a better place by helping girls feel better about their place in the world. God bless, Ian. This is not Scazzy in a male, guys. It's just Ian. Hashtag. Oh no, wait. With a beard. Don't tell Meg. Hi, Ian. We love you.
I have a beautiful Clifton Suspension Bridge little memorial of our time here in Bristol.
Oh.
A similarly beautiful card. My goodness, this is unbelievable. Thanks for all the work you do. I'll do my best to spread the word too. Kindest regards, Ian. That is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Ian, thank you so much. This is really thoughtful. I can't believe you bought us cards.
There's my card.
Oh, and the card says uniquely crafted by Scribble Whiskers with a kitty cat on the back.
You will find a cat in anything.
I feel so special, guys. I can't. So thank you so much to every single person who have stopped us to say hello and share their story. There are so many.
Oh.
And I wish I had more time to stop and talk to more people. It has been the most heartwarming experience.
I've had plenty too, and everything everybody says when they stop me is, I love watching the podcast, I love what you and Elma are doing, and the way you speak, and we do it because we know people want to hear it. You're all doing the same thing out there that is being said on this pod. We're not making it up, we're saying it because we know it's what people feel, right? So it's our opportunity to hopefully say the things that you feel out there, and this inclusive space, this warm space that brings other people into this game, that makes space for neurodiverse people or others that don't want to be part of different environments, but this is the one where they feel safe. Being approached and cuddled and photographed and selfied with all of these people is what makes it so special, and that's what I'm already getting the after show blues as to what happens after this 6 weeks. I can't bear to think about it.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be so hard. But at least we had last night in the pub.
That was joyous.
The last WhatsApp I got from Katie Daly-McLean was this morning at 3. So if you did hear her on the BBC radio this morning, she did that on 4 hours sleep. And she did perform like a pro today on live TV. So I do want to say...
Once a winner, always a winner.
Another person who put in a player of the match performance was producer Scarratt, who was a really big fan at the New Zealand-Canada match, then came to the pub with us, had a really big night in the pub with us. I think Katie Daly-McLean and I waved goodbye to producer Scarratt outside the kebab shop at 2:45.
I mean, just brilliant work for everyone having their own night.
And then she played touch with you this morning.
She did, yes. It's my great pleasure to be chair of the Rugby Union Writers Club, and actually over many World Cups, men's particularly, they have had media games of rugby. And so I thought, well, this is going to be a women's rugby space, a mixed space, so maybe I'll bring my game of touch to proceedings. So we organised a media touch game. A load of the Bristol Jets and England touch players came and joined us, which was great. And we had Anna Capeless came along, Philippa Tuttiett played.
Philippa Tuttiett just drove through for touch and then went back to go watch it on her TV.
She did exactly that, having been up early to watch her family play football, or her son play football. So we had an awful lot of fun. Sam Lovett didn't love it. She was seeing her breakfast re-emerge after the first 10 minutes. That was glorious. We had a brilliant time. Thank you so much to everybody that showed up, and to the Bristol Jets and everybody. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. And Scarratt did the thing that I expect Union players to do, and it would take too many bleeps to share exactly what she said, but fair to say that some of the pedantic nature of the lovely sport I play got to her.
Oh. She doesn't like the touching. She wants the full contact.
She wanted to smash people, I think.
Yeah, she's a bit of a crash ball 12. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was great.
She does like getting stuck in. Now it's time to look forward to the final weekend. Nick's Picks, brought to you by Funding Circle, where we ask Nicholas Heath to look into his crystal ball and tell us what might happen when New Zealand face France in the bronze final on Saturday at 12:30.
I think the French gave everything they possibly could in that game. I think the Black Ferns will want to remind people that they could have been, should have been World Cup finalists in their eyes. I mean, obviously Canada have got there. I think it'll be the Black Ferns by 14.
1-4.
1-4, 14.
I thought it might be more. That's quite conservative.
It could be, but it's my pick. Leave me alone.
Okay. It's the next pick. I'm not going to mess with it too much then. All right. And now for the big one. At 4 p.m. BST on Saturday, the 27th of September. England against Canada.
Thanks very much. We'll see you next week. What do we think? What do we think? I mean, I'm thinking about this live. I haven't come into this with a pre-prepared idea. If England play like they played second half, I think they have enough of a game with a Meg Jones and an Ellie Kildan outside to win this whole thing. But if they play like they did in the first half and Canada go all out, it's going to be a very uncomfortable day for Red Roses fans. I believe England will game face it when they need to. So I'm going England by 4 against Canada.
I have actual goosebumps.
And for everybody that's been behind the Red Roses bus, I only hope for their sake I'm right.
Everything happens twice. First in your mind, and then in reality. If any of the Red Roses are listening to this, that's all I would like to say. That was Nick's Picks. All you need to know about the next round brought to you by Funding Circle. They provide fast, hassle-free finance that backs small businesses, because just like rugby, running a business takes grit, hard work, and a great team behind you. To find out how Funding Circle can help your business goals get over the line, visit fundingcircle.com/rugby. And let us know if you agree with Nick's picks or not in the comments below. I think I'm going to have to lie down. I can't. When you were talking about the final now.
Yeah. How did we get here? Well, obviously the last 5 weeks, but crazy. It's been unbelievable. And what a great couple of semi-finals we had. A great opportunity for Canada to show what they were capable of on a global stage, on a Friday Night Lights. Everybody needed to see that to believe they are worthy World Cup finalists. I think that was really important. And England showed they're fallible, show they can not get it right, and how important it's going to be for them to get it right. And the best thing about both of those things is that the world will tune in.
The world will tune in indeed. And what has been really interesting is I heard today, this is unconfirmed, but I heard a rumor today that we had 1.5 million viewers last weekend who had not watched before.
Wow.
In the UK.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And so if you are one of those 1.5 million people who've just pulled up a chair here and felt that the water is quite warm and the vibes are quite nice and it makes you feel good, then we hope that this week and everything that it brings with it is the best surf you will have in your life.
And World Rugby have said that 30% of the people attending matches are new fans and 90% of them would come again through a survey. So if you take that around over 400,000 people over this World Cup, that's 120,000 plus are new and coming back for more. And they've all got friends who they're going to want to bring. So we've got a global product and the best club product in England. It's takeoff time.
Here we go. Get your seatbelt on, arm doors and cross-check. We are ready for liftoff. Make sure that you tune in later this week when we will bring you a preview episode with the irreverent Heath.
Shall I turn up with some new stats? I'll do my best.
Yes, please. And Katie Daly-McLean will be joining us in the studio as well. I will be heading in camp to go catch up with the girlies, as I always do, and go talk about everything except the rugby. And when we do this again, our finale for GSR Quick
Oh,
Tap,
you've just made my stomach flip over.
Trophy glory, rugby history, and hopefully an end to 11 years of Rugby World Cup hurt will have been addressed. Here we go, guys.
Woo.
This is The Good, The Scaz, The Rugby, a Folding Pocket production produced by our good friend and fearless leader,
Shira Kilgallen.
And thank you, Jasmine, and thank you, Dan, and thank you to the entire Bristol Brewing Company and Taproom. good chant? What's a good chant?
When I say red, you say roses.
When I say red, you say roses. Red,
Roses!
red,
Roses!
red,
Roses!
red.
Roses!
You guys can join in the back there. It's nice. You can come in.
You've been listening to The Good, The Scaz and The Rugby with the blue tip. The one that always wears red.
And the croissant queen.
Thanks for listening.